What's going on, guys? Welcome to In the Zone, where we dive deep into the world of skill acquisition, mental focus, and various training zones within the game of baseball. I'm your host, Garrison Roy, and on this podcast, we have a bunch of different episodes, but today we're going to have a full-length interview with Adam Battersby. But if you got any other topics or questions, suggestions, feel free to throw that in the zone podcast 123 at gmail.com. But without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Adam, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. How you guys doing today?
Hey, we're just taking it one day at a time. Nice and sunny. It's starting to feel a little bit like fall now, which,
Yes.
we got some football coming in, some postseason baseball, which we were talking about a little bit. Our
Yep.
teams, unfortunately, aren't doing so hot this year, but still fun to watch regardless.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, yeah, for those, I guess, listening that don't know too much about the product and service that you guys offer over at Pro Batter Sports, just kind of give us a little bit of background of how it came about and just go from there.
Yeah. So at Pro Batter Sports, what we do is we make video pitching machines. And what that is we put a video screen in front of a pitching machine and it projects a real live image of either right hand or left hand pitcher. So you see the whole wind up before the ball comes out. So it's timed perfectly. It's really the closest thing to real live batting practice that you can take. And we have different model machines. We have a machine called the PX3 that uses our own 3-hole pitching machine and is controlled by big color touchscreen. So you get 10 different pitches, any speed you want from 40 to 100 miles an hour, any location you want. You could do pitch by pitch, repeat a pitch. You can program your own sequence. Really, anything you want with that machine, you can get. And then we also have conversion kits for other manufacturers' pitching machines, like the Iron Mike and the Hack Attack.
Mhm.
The Iron Mike's been around forever, and the Hack Attack's a great three-hole pitching machine that's used. They sell thousands of years,
Oh yeah.
thousands of units per year. And then lastly, we also have a system called the Strikeout Pro for pitchers that shows a video image of a right-hand and left-hand batter at different age levels, and a catcher, and you throw into it, and it records your speed and accuracy. So that one's pretty cool as well.
Nice. And just out of curiosity, so whenever it's for the pitcher side, because I was a pitcher in college and stuff, so I like talking about both, but I'm more inclined to the pitching side.
Sure.
Um, the accuracy with that, is it kind of similar to like what you'd see in the strike zone on the games, or is it can you integrate it with either Rapsodo or TrackMan or anything and with that?
Yeah, so a lot of our customers use the hit tracks, the Rapsodo, all that TrackMan, but they would work side by side. So you just add it to the system, and then you'll have our system, like for the hitting version, you'll have the pitcher winding up, and then after you throw the ball, you'll hit it, and then you'll usually put a big flat screen next to the batting cage with all the analytics, the exit velocity, the trajectory, all that stuff, and it's such a cool setup when you combine the two. I mean, has all the data, it's just a really cool setup. But for the pitching one, yes, you can certainly do that. Then you have the spin rate and all that stuff. So technology nowadays is it's really cool and makes it a lot of fun to train with.
Oh, 100%. And you have all that feedback, especially,
Yeah,
you have a lot of these labs kind of popping up here and there, uh,
yeah,
whether it's hitting or pitching. And especially whenever guys are further up north, when it's starting to get even colder and they get locked
yeah,
indoors, like they need to have some of these tools that they can't have access to, like seeing live pitching all the time, or,
sure.
maybe you only have a guy who, and even in college, whenever I was coming up, like you had maybe 1 or 2 days where pitchers could even throw full effort live
Yeah,
to those
yeah,
guys. And, if the guys hitting didn't get enough hacks in, then they had to wait until the next week,
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely
So
can see where this can provide a lot of value and help guys get better reps in.
Yeah, so we're based out of Connecticut. So up here we have long winters and it gets kind of cold. So it's hard for us to compete against, the states that's, like the Texas, the Floridas, the California, players that can train really all year round. I mean, it's we gotta find a way to keep up.
That's it. That's it. Well, and
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of colleges are leaning more towards, your Texas and Florida, California
Yeah.
guys, because they're able to do that full
Yeah.
time, uh, just playing, which, you have several different opinions on with other coaches and trainers. It's like, hey, should you play around? Which,
Yep.
I won't get into that too much, but it's more of like,
Yep.
okay, you do need some time to train and focus on your weaknesses. You shouldn't be
Yep.
playing and throwing at max effort of like game speed all the time. But it's one of those things where it's for hitting, like it's a it's more of a deteriorating skill.
Yep. Yep.
It's if you're not hitting off of 80 plus miles an hour all the time, or pro level guys, if you're not seeing 100 consistently, your swing's going to pay for it, right? And
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
your reactivity and everything else, and being able to adjust to certain different pitches, which I love what you guys were saying, that you can add in certain sequences, like versus a traditional, not saying that it's bad, but I'm guilty of this too as a coach. You just put it into the hack attack machine and it's
Yep.
coming. You see him
Yep.
make the adjustment on the knob. Oh, here it is. This is
Yep.
a different pitch. So like there's already an anticipation
Yeah.
versus when you're actually in the game and you're seeing some of that change
Yeah.
out in front of
And
you.
that's actually how we started. So growing up, I had a two-wheel jugs machine in my backyard. And same thing. My dad put the ball up, put it in the machine. Sometimes it went smoothly, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes your timing's all messed up. And then when you go from fastball to curveball, you adjust the knobs, tilting the machine, you're testing pitches, and you know what's coming. So you don't learn how to hit the ball. You learn how to just, you know where to put the bat basically. And that's why I always had problems with the curveball. Fastball was never a problem. I could keep up to, the fast pitchers, but curveball, I look stupid. So it was tough for me.
Oh yeah. Well, and I talk about this a lot too in previous episodes. It's like, hey, you're gonna shrink to the level of your practice. And if you're not
Yeah.
practicing hitting curveballs or even seeing them for that matter, like it's gonna be tough for you to make
Yeah.
those adjustments in game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, our pitching machine can throw anything you want, and you don't see any, the wheels changing. You don't see any of that because it's all behind the video screen, and all the videos of the pitches we have, the arm speeds and arm angles are all matched up perfectly. So it's again the closest thing to real live BP that you can take. So it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and I know a lot of it too, especially from the pitcher side, like if you have guys who are trying to mix up their timing and stuff like that, can you also add that into the sequence of like the amount of time between pitches, or is that pretty consistent too?
It's pretty consistent. You can change it up, but not in a sequence.
Sure.
I mean, so for example, like now everyone's using hit tracks and Rapsodo,
Mhm.
so they want more time between the pitches so they can see all their data.
Oh, sure.
Especially the Rapsodo has a little bit of a delay, but yes, you can lengthen the time between pitches. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good to know, because having that feedback versus getting into, I guess, a rhythm, which is good for
yeah,
certain things in BP. But we've all been there in the cage where we're just like, okay, we're hitting, and then we just keep going, and you have the same exact rhythm. Or even like home run derbies that you've seen earlier this year, like they try to stay within that same like
yeah,
flow, and it's easy to hit that way. But as a pitcher, I'm like, hey, my main thing is to get your timing off and disrupt that rhythm that you have,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if you're implementing that into the training itself, and I'm sure you
yeah,
can probably pause it and do certain things, maybe have a coaching moment here or there,
yeah,
but I think that's really valuable, and not get stuck in that, you know, getting through that. I don't want to say mundane, but just through that same
yeah.
routine all the
Yeah, I
time.
got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So our machine, if you're in manual mode, for example, you could do one pitch at a time. Then work with the batter if you're coaching, and then take a little break, or you could do repeat mode, which is basically pitch after pitch for 10, 15 pitches in a row.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So where have you guys? I'm sure I've even personally seen this even back whenever I was playing. There was one facility that had the setup, and I was like, "Well, this is intense." Yeah. Uh, and again, we were like still. I think this was like U Triple SA before Perfect Game was even a thing,
Yeah.
and it was neat. You were able to see this. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cutting edge stuff." But how many I guess units have you guys sold thus far? Or do you know like if any big league teams use it or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. So we've been around since 1999, so almost 25 years, and we sold about 1,000 machines, and that's both U.S. and international. Our biggest market is the commercial training centers and batting cages, but we also do a lot of home installations, like semi-private for travel teams. We sold about 25 machines to professional baseball. A bunch of players have bought it for their houses or local training centers. And
Sure.
then we got into cricket overseas about 10, 15 years ago. So a lot of those cricket teams are buying them now. And that system's wild because the bowler comes running up and then he throws in spin and it's crazy. It's as a baseball player, it took a little while to get used to it, but it's definitely a cool market.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a really valuable market to have too. And I guess part of it would be trying to figure out the spin of like when it hits the ground, and
Yeah.
then the different movements of what guys can actually do with that. That's really neat.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy stuff. And we're all baseball guys, so we didn't really know anything about cricket going into this. So when the teams came to us, we had to sit down with them. These national teams came to us, and we sat down with them and made sure the pitch database and the spins are accurate and all that stuff. So it was a little bit of a learning curve for all of us, but definitely a cool and exciting market to get into.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good thing about any good product is it's able to adapt and adjust to whatever you're trying to sell it for. That's
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
awesome. Well, so have you had any other experience as far as, you know, maybe other types of things that may have tried to do something similar to this? Or because I know you guys have international and US patents with this too,
Yes.
but have you seen anyone try to like knock it off, and like what as the differentiator between you guys and what someone else
Yeah,
would do?
yes, with any product, you always come across competition and people try to knock you off. We do have a competitor down south. He converts other machines, so other manufacturers' machines. He's a smaller company. We don't really compete with him too much, but he sells machines. And then there's another company out of Canada that came out that is it's really high end. I think it's like $250,000.
Oh
He's
wow.
only sold maybe 10 machines to Major League Baseball. And Major League Baseball is a great market to sell to. It builds credibility. It's high end, but it's a small market. So when you're selling these machines for $250,000, and working with this company, I know the amount of money and time that goes into developing this product. I would have to say they're gonna have a tough time, just selling to Major League Baseball. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, there's some competition. We like to think we're the best, but I guess it depends on the user and all that. So, but competition is good. It makes you work harder and it makes you develop a better product. So it's all good
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. That goes with anything, even what we probably learned in our playing days, right? It's
Exactly.
for me, it's the other coaches out there that are also trying to provide the similar service. I'm like, hey, this is what makes us better, or this is what makes us different,
Yeah.
or But uh, you said the $250,000 price one, like, yeah, that's probably something only the big league teams could probably afford, and
Yeah.
even then, not all of them could do that, right? Like you have,
Yeah.
not to bash them in any way, but it's the first team that came to my mind because we all have seen Moneyball, but Oakland
Yeah.
Athletic, they're not going to be able
Yeah.
to drop that kind of money on
Exactly.
just one machine. So
Yeah. And some
most
of
of
those
them
major
will
league Yep, I
go
was
ahead.
saying some of those Major League Baseball sales. I mean, they'll buy one machine for the big league club, and then they'll buy a few for their minor league club. At $250,000, it's hard to do that. So you're only just doing one machine per team. So you only have 32 sales if you hit them all, and that's in theory it's good, but it's hard to get by, with that, with employees and all that stuff. So
Oh,
I mean,
no
good
doubt.
luck to them.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, and some of them may only keep it, big league and spring training complex, and
Yeah.
then may not even use any of the minor league teams, or if they use all of them, then that's definitely a pretty penny.
Yeah, yeah. But
So I
some of the
guess
coaches, some coaches love it, some they're old school. So when a new coach comes in, they can say, you know what, we got this far by T work and soft toss, and it's not broken, why fix it? While some coaches say, I love technology, this is great. So you know, it's a tough market, basically.
no, absolutely. Well, what have been some of the adjustments? I know you guys have said you've been here or started since '99, right?
Yep. Hmm.
What have been some of the more updated tweaks? Maybe obviously like software and stuff like that to try to get that updated. But what have been some things that you guys have adapted as baseball's evolved through
Yeah.
this?
The main thing is price. I mean, when we first came out, we were $75,000, and even at 75, it's tough. You know, you hit the bigger training facilities, you hit Major League Baseball, the bigger universities, and then from there it's hard. So then the first machine was out for about 7 years. We went from 75 grand to 45 grand. That was out for about 13, 14 years, or maybe 10, 12 years. And then now we have the PX3, which went from $45,000 to 27.5. So now that 27.5, it opens up a whole new market of, a lot of guys getting it for their, for their houses, in their basements, for their kids, for these, we have a bunch of guys that have, they're business owners, so they have open warehouse space. They'll put a machine for their kids, the travel team in the back, and it's doing a lot more volume at that price point, which is good
Oh,
stuff,
sure.
and a lot more softball as well too.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that too, because you got to have different size balls going through there, being able to adapt and adjust for that.
Yeah,
Well, and two, like I'm sure the PX3 one probably has less volume than, you have a hitting facility or somewhere over there that's going to be probably running 5 hours, 5 to 6 days a week,
yeah,
just
yeah,
running guys through it versus, the little small ones or the home ones, I guess, to say like maybe 2, 3 hours max. And
yeah,
like the
yeah,
guy's hands are bleeding at that point, probably they're
yeah,
for
yeah,
that long. Like
yeah,
I still have, those little marks that you have from whenever you're hitting, like right
yeah,
in the palm,
yep, yep,
the blisters and everything. So
yeah.
if you hit for that long a period of time, you're gonna pay for it. That's for
Yes, yes. But it makes sense. I mean, some of these guys, I mean, if you can afford a machine for 27.5 for your house, it usually means you have a house big enough and you do pretty well. So a lot of these guys, these owners, they work long hours, and when they come home, they want to see their kid hit, but they don't want to drive half an hour, 45 minutes to a local batting cage. So put it in their house and, spend the time with their kids, get their kids better, and do a little one-on-one, which is good too.
no doubt.
And then a lot of the guys, if a lot of those kids get drafted and get scholarships, and if they do, it pays for itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what are the, I guess, parameters, or let's say someone already has a cage set up in their basement or in their backyard, hopefully with a awning because you guys have a lot of technology there, right? So
Yep.
you need to keep that
Hmm.
protected. But what would be the minimal distance between like where the machine is and then kind of where home plate would be?
Yeah. So we put our video screen 54 and a half from home plate, because we take in consideration the stride, the release, all that. So for the PX3 that throws all the different breaking pitches, we recommend 68 total feet. And that takes into consideration 6 or 7 feet for the machine and space behind home plate for a catch net. If you didn't have that, we could put a lot smaller. Well, we do have customers that put that machine in like 45, 50-foot cages. And then if you have an iron mic or hack attack, you can go even shorter, because you can adjust the knobs and the dials of the wheel speeds. And the iron mic's a straight fastball, so you can go in, 30, 35 foot, all said and done, if you wanted to. But yes, but you have to, if it's outdoors, you have to keep it covered, because, rain, and, you don't want, you don't want the machine to get wet. And also, the sunlight will that wash out the video image of the video screen. So you want to
Hmm.
keep that protected and, shaded
Oh,
a little
absolutely.
bit.
With all that money that you're spending towards it, you definitely got to make sure that it stays up to par and lasts.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yep.
Love it. And what
Yeah.
kind of I guess additional service, like if you once you guys set it up and everything and then maybe it needs a few tweaks or recalibration, things like that, do you guys provide those services too?
Yeah. So calibration is usually done by the customer. We send out directions, pictures in it and how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. It takes a little bit of time because there's a lot of different pitches, but it's very simple to do. And for service and maintenance, if anything's wrong, you just call us up. We'll walk you through over the phone how to fix it, or set up a Zoom call and get some eyes on it, and offer some recommendations that way. If still you can't fix it, then any on-site computer repair tech, they're all over. We can call them and have them come out and fix it, because they're more hands-on, more computer, you know. So yeah, they're not that bad to maintain.
Sure. That's good. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're going to make an investment like this, you want to have it around as long as you can. And,
Sure. Yeah.
I think of it as almost like buying a car, right? Like, if you're going to get the Land Rover or Range Rover, and it costs almost twice as much to do than like if you're going to get a GMC or a Ford because of
Yeah.
just general maintenance, then
Yep.
okay, hey, like I'm also paying a lot more for the car initially and then for the repairs on top of that. But if you're getting that
Yes.
and then it's also pretty inexpensive to maintain, then seems like a winner for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But just like a car, I mean, you have to still maintain it. I mean, wheels, they go every 600 or 700,000 pitches, or even more. Balls you got to replace. You got to just, if you keep it clean, it's going to work better. It just, it's stuff like that. Just keep an eye on it, make sure it's running smoothly, and you can't just stick in the back of a corner and just let it run for a decade and not, touch it at all.
Oh yeah, I love it. Well, and I'm sure the light bulbs and stuff too, like having to adjust that and making sure that it's timed up perfectly,
Yeah,
is part of it too.
yeah, the timing, that's our selling point. So that's all timed up. But if it somehow gets off synchronization, then you could always just tweak it. It's very easy to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, projector bulbs, they have, I think a 5,000 hour lifetime on them. So every couple of years, you're gonna have to replace those. The video screens get dirty over time, but just routine maintenance stuff, nothing too bad.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if the guys are peppering the balls enough, the screen's going to get dirty regardless. So the
Yes, yes. And these hitting facilities, the name of the game is to try to get the hitter to hit as hard as they can, the best they can. So balls are coming back, they're hitting stuff. So it's gotta stay on top of it.
yeah,
But nothing's irreplaceable. You could always swap out parts or get new video screens or nothing's too bad price wise.
for sure. And then I guess last couple of questions for me, like, can you upload other videos like of current guys? Like, let's say more updated, pitching roster. Like, I think back whenever I was doing it, there was like a Nolan Ryan one or a Randy Johnson one. And if you're not seeing any guys like that, I'm curious if you could update it to like more current, uh, pitchers if you have any video off of them.
Yeah, so what we do, we use actually minor league pitchers for
Oh,
the
cool.
right side and left side, and also the stretch and full windup. We use those because they're cheaper than the major league pitchers,
Yeah.
who charge an arm and a leg, and also since we sell the Major League Baseball, the major leaguers don't want other teams using their images because then you can train off, say Kershaw before the playoffs and rock them. That said, we have customers that will use video that they have existing from the stadium. They'll send to us, we'll do the editing, and then we'll put it on the video screen. So like the Rockies had Kershaw, years back, and Greinke, and they had some other pitchers as well. So that is possible. We just can't sell them without, giving them a piece of it.
The consent, yeah, or the name, image, and likeness.
Yes.
And that
Yeah. And
makes
that's,
total sense.
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
That's really
But
cool though, how you can keep that updated and still evolve and keep guys, for minor league guys, like you're probably just like, hey, like we're gonna use this and see how it goes. But for the most part, I think regardless of who's up there, the hitter still has to hit the ball, right? Like
exactly. Yep.
one of those
Yeah.
things. Where this is a hard enough sport to take a round bat and a round ball and hit it
Yeah.
up. Like
Yeah.
that's a challenge in and of itself.
Exactly, especially all the breaking pitches and 100 mile an hour pitches, and also likewise we do have little league images on there as well for the smaller guys.
Oh, great. No, yeah,
Yeah,
that's another way how you can adjust that. So I guess there, as with any pitching machine, you can adjust it and kind of tier it down based on the level of the athlete, right?
yeah. So the PXT has actually 9 different levels. The first 3 levels is based off 45 feet, and it has a little leaguer up there. So for a batting cage, you'll put down 2 home plates or 2 batters mats, one for the smaller guys, one for the older guys.
Hmm.
And then all the levels up from there, they're all age appropriate levels. So it's high school, college, pro, etc.
Nice. Well, that's cool too, because then you can think about it even from the price point of like, okay, hey, you have a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old is playing at the small field, but then you can still scale it as they grow and continue to play.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
awesome.
And now as the levels get higher, you get more pitch selection and the speed ranges go up. So it's more realistic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a totally different animal whenever you see, even just me being a coach, like guys from 12 to then 14, even though it's like a 2-year age gap, like
Yeah,
especially with some of the kids, how fast they're like evolving into their bodies and, just kind of filling it out a little bit.
yeah,
It's almost a night and day difference. And then you go from there
yeah,
and a senior in high school and you're like, okay, wow, like that's nuts. But
yeah,
2 years north of that, it's like, okay, you got 18 versus 20, like you're still relatively close to the same thing. Unless, you're talking about a phenom major league guy, you know,
yeah,
those are definitely two different tiers, but
yeah.
it's
Well, it's like
crazy.
look at the Little League World Series. I mean, you have 6'3" guys and you have 4'8" guys. It's a wide range.
Yeah. Well, last question for you too. I guess the pitching side of it, right? Um, and you said that this was the one that's gonna track the accuracy and stuff.
Yes. Yep.
What sensors are being used, and like how does that? Is there like a data report thing that gets sent out to kind of show like, hey, this was your pinpoint accuracy? Like, how's that being measured compared to, the hitting side where it's just a projector and then you're just taking swings?
Yeah, so behind the video screen for the Strikeout Pro, there's a sensor mat with different there's sensors on it basically. So whatever sensor you hit, you're trying to pick a location to throw to, and then when you actually throw the ball, it'll measure where it hits relative to where you want it to hit, and then it'll give you feedback of how well you did, hits, misses, velocity, and all that stuff, and it'll have a little report for you at the end.
I think that's extremely valuable. Not only that, but just being a guy who's worked in facilities and you see a bunch of guys throwing bullpens to like these little 9 sock things, and you're like,
Yeah,
all right, you're not really like it. Preferably like to have a catcher to then throw a ball back to you, but if that is limited resource, and catchers are very few and far between, especially to catch 30 plus bullpens in a day.
sure, yeah,
They're
yeah,
going to be definitely gassed. So if you have
yeah.
that, having some representation of what it's like, you have a catcher, you can actually look and say, hey, throw it at his helmet, throw it at his shoulder versus, a little black square. I think that's
Yeah.
extremely valuable,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And you get all the feedback too.
which is
Yeah.
also a definite plus for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here for those of you guys who are watching. This is the website here, but feel free to check it out and contact these guys. Is there I think that we got the sales at probetter.com, but is there any other way anyone can reach you or kind of find out
Y-
more about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probatter.com, like you see on the screen right now. That's our website. It has all the machine breakdowns, pricing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to email in, it's sales or info@probatter.com. They both come to me. I can help you out. Or if you want to call the office, it's 203-874-2500. And you could ask for me. I can help you out. And if you want more information, I could also get more information, demo videos, pictures, all that stuff. I can send that over as well.
Love it. Awesome. Well, cool. Adam, did you have any other closing remarks before we let you go?
I think we covered everything. Yeah, I think I'm
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
I love it. Well, appreciate you coming on, Adam, and taking some time out of your day. And for those of you listening, stay in the zone.